Take it off.
We are back with another exciting episode of Who's at Pizza Expo. We're in the marquee booth. We're with Chef Leo Spizzirri is with us, joining us. How's it going? How's
He
Expo?
came pre-mic'd, too.
Fantastic. This is to our feet. I got another camera behind. People
Nice.
following us around, but it's going awesome, man. One
Paul
thing
is dead. Paul is dead.
I keep saying, like, even though it's a smaller show this year, it's really given us the opportunity to get more personal. Where like in 2019, I ended up doing 16-hour-long demos in 3 days in the show floor. Had a whole crew like setting me up, knocking me down. All I was doing was changing microphones between the booths. And this year it was like so nice to actually, have that camaraderie and new people in here. So many new people in the industry here.
Yeah.
And it's really awesome to see that.
Yeah. You came out with a big announcement yesterday. You want to talk about that? What was
Sure.
it?
So I about February I departed ways. I was part of a culinary school in Chicago.
Yep.
And parted ways with those guys. Left them on good spot, and they're still doing their thing. But I took the last 6 months and kind of really just said, what is the whole? Where do I need to be fitting into?
Mm-hmm.
And it was really apparent that there's so many people that are new startups, home pizza makers using unis and all that. There's so many people looking for good information that sometimes it gets lost, like when you go on Google and YouTube and all that. So I launched a brand new website called leospizzirri.com. And right now it's just a splash page. Put your information in there, send me a question, and we're promoting them through my social media channels, which you can find at Ask Chef Leo. Ask Chef Leo. And it's pretty cool because it gives me this opportunity to kind of mix worlds. Sometimes I'm in front of professionals, sometimes I'm in front of home bakers, and it's so cool to not only just talk about pizza, but to be able to talk about pastas and sauces and everything else that's in our world and make it make sense to the home consumer. So, the big announcement was really that. We're going to be very soon doing 90-minute live classes that you can find a subject that you like, follow along, we'll send you the ingredients, do that whole thing. But then if you got some time in the middle of the night, you can't sleep, you can also go into the archive and watch these at your own
I thought you were going to
leisure.
say Chef Leo would put you to sleep.
No. I thought you were going to turn it into something else, like Chef Leo Cinemax or something.
I thought one of the cool things we had talked about before you made the announcement a couple weeks ago, you said talking about doing putting it together a menu or putting together an ingredient list for an item, but the ingredient list has a 50-pound bag of flour, but it also has, for the backyard uni guy, it's also got a 1-pound bag of flour recipe as well. You're going to do that too, right?
Yeah, so this is something that became very obvious during the pandemic. I had a channel that was doing really well, and there were so many people saying, like, I work all in the metric system. I learned how to bake in Italy, and everything I do is in the metric system.
Right.
So going to tell somebody to use a 1 kilo bag of flour, people that don't use the metric system, that are imperial measurements, saying, well, it's easy, it's 2.2 pounds.
Right.
But we talk about that as like, hey, you should really be measuring in metric, because how do you tell an operator that's got maybe a dishwasher scaling out their dough formula to get ready to mix what 0.2 pounds is, right? So it's a lot easier to say 1,000 grams than 2.2 pounds. So that was a big part of this. And then saying not everybody uses a full 50-pound bag of flour or 25 kilos of flour. How do we make this so that the home baker can say, yeah, I got this bag of flour on Amazon.
I can do this too.
And I can do it too, exactly the same way. So it's testing all of these so that I know that these are foolproof formulas. The best thing about baking at home is that you're going to impress your family and your friends, right? So we want you to be successful. We want you to learn from your failures. But then once you get that confidence and you're like, wow, this was pretty easy, I want to try something else. And I think that's how we're grooming the next generation coming into our industry. Everybody sat at home and Zoomed everything, right? And for the first time, you've got people who are, attorneys and accountants and all this other things saying, I don't want to be stuck behind a desk for the rest of my life. I want to be working with my hands.
We've talked to several people in this booth who pizza's not their full-time gig, but they just fell in love with it and started a business and a food truck or a pop-up or
I was going to ask you, how long have you been a part of the World Pizza Champions?
So I was in the very early days. The original 5, the founding members were around.
Detroit Red Wings, the St. Louis.
Yeah, not that founding.
Oh, not that. Okay.
But at that time it was Tony Gemignani, Siler Chapman, Michael Shepard, Sean Browser, and I'm missing Ken Bryant. Ken Bryant. They were the original 5. And as the team started growing and expanding, I actually met Tony for the first time here at Pizza Expo. And I was like the Chicago pizza guy at a time like when Chicago pizza wasn't even cool. Like nobody wanted to know about it. Now tavern style has exploded. Everyone wants to do tavern style. But Tony really saw something in me, and he's like, I think you should train up a little bit. There's more outside of Chicago than you know about. And he actually sponsored me, and I went into one of his first classes.
Oh, wow.
And after his first class, we did so much stuff together, and he's like, man, it would be an honor if you would join my team. And I was just floored.
You're like, yes.
I was so nervous because I only knew how to do Chicago pizza at that point.
Right.
And it was because of him, as a mentor, that said, there's this school in Italy, and if you've got time, I'll help you get in there. You're going to have to keep going back to Italy to train.
Right.
And I went back so much that I ended up getting a master's certification in all 5 styles of pizza from Italy.
Wow.
And then in 2017, again with the help of Tony, they were opening the instructors program. I got the call, and I went back and I passed that course. We're less than 100 master instructors in the world.
Wow.
And to say that, it's a big responsibility.
I feel honored right now. We're like,
I just want to know what are the 5 styles of pizza. I don't think I know.
Well, you probably know a bunch of them. So think about it. So everyone knows Neapolitan, right? There's what's called pizza classica, which is the round pizza that's not Neapolitan.
Okay.
We've got the original Sicilian, which would be called pizza in teglia. In Rome, they've got the pizza alla pala, which is the 3-foot-meter long pizza.
Yep.
And then they've got senza glutine, which is gluten-free. And all 5 of those, I had 4 forever. And the one I always said I didn't care about was the gluten-free, because I said I was a master in things with gluten. I could care less. I clearly, you can see
gluten-friendly podcast.
I leavened well.
Gluten-friendly here.
But again, it was at that point that a good friend of mine ended up becoming truly celiac. And I said, I'm going to take this more serious. I went back to Italy. I got my master's in that as well, and did a lot of great stuff here in the States promoting, people that are truly celiac or gluten intolerant.
Yeah.
And turned it into that. So those are the 5 styles.
I wanted to.
The Detroiter me's a little upset right now, but it's okay.
Yeah.
But all those styles in the United States, this is where it's so classic, because you have these 5 styles that all immigrated to the States on their own. And then as you went into all these different regions, these mom and pop places that were immigrants from Italy ended up, let's say, for example, in Detroit. Where did that start? That was a pan pizza, close to maybe focaccia-like, that borderlined on a Sicilian from the East Coast, and it evolved into Detroit because of the pan, right?
Yeah.
The way the cheese was and it caramelized. So every style of pizza that we have in the States, we can 100% track down to one of those 5 styles in
I
Italy.
think we need to create a graphic, like the pizza tree. Right?
Yeah, that's cool.
The pizza
I wanted
family tree.
to take that World Pizza Champion question a little farther, because I talked to you a couple weeks ago for an hour on the phone, and I walked away from that call thinking of that group of the World Pizza Champions, and not to slight anyone else, I don't mean it this way, but you're probably the most educated. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, you know what it is? It's educated, but there's a lot of guys that do what I do. And back in the day when Tony really first brought me aboard, and I got to make really good friends with him over the years, the thing about Tony was that it was the first time like that, especially being a guy from Chicago, it wasn't about keeping secrets, right? In Chicago, like it was, man, God forbid you tell somebody your dough formula, or you don't want the next guy to have any more knowledge because you don't want him to go surpass you, right? And it was that first time, it's like, what's the use of having all this knowledge if someday I'm going to be in a box and it's going to be gone, right? Who are we passing this to?
Not a pizza box either.
Not a pizza box.
It's going to be a big freaking pizza box.
We're going to put a perfect crust pizza liner under this guy too. So.
Do you have coffin-shaped liners?
We're going to make one for Leo.
I'll land it for Halloween. That'll be our thing. But, it was really that. Like, there's no secrets. The industry is going to be better if we do take away these dividing lines. It wasn't about pizza teams anymore and this team and that team. It was really about the industry and the camaraderie
Giving back.
and the family, right?
Yeah.
We talk about the brotherhood all the time. Tony's really big with, respect the craft. It is a craft. We wear these red neckerchiefs, not because I look good in a red neckerchief. It's really talking about our origins, where we came from, right? That's what we're trying to respect. Traditions that go back 300 years. Who am I to change it? But I want to be that person carrying the torch over the bridge to give it to the next guy to go forward.
Let me ask you this question. Hotly debated, right? Pizza as a cult, pizza as a culture, pizza as a community. Why is hamburgers not that? Like, why is seafood not that? Like, why is it only like pizza?
I think that to me, pizza is very approachable. No matter what kind of pizza you like, you can go to anybody in the world, say, what's your favorite pizza? And they're going to spit something out. You may have never heard of the pizza place before, but they'll probably say, oh, I love a pepperoni, or I love this, whatever it might be. But I think that's why it is like this. And it's gotten so big because it's again, people love to talk about it. It's easy to talk about. It's great to be able to sit around a pizza box or a pizza at the table, right?
Yep.
And that what happens around it, right? We have we're at the Pizza Expo, right? And in the competition, there's an award called the Pat Bruno Award. Pat Bruno back in the day was one of the food writers for one of the Chicago newspapers. And he became really big in the industry as not only a critic, but one of those people that was always talking about people getting back to the table and eating together and sharing a meal.
Yeah.
And when he passed away, in his in this big eulogy that they did, one of his quotes that he said was that there's no sadness around pizza. You sit in front of a pizza box and all of a sudden people are happy. They're smiling. And that's something that stuck with me. He's been gone for a while and we still honor him with this award for the pizza makers. But that was, again, the perfect thing that I can say that why it's like that, because I think that people are just happy standing or sitting around a pizza.
To answer your question, from my standpoint, I heard John Arena a year ago talk about the reason why pizza is that way and burgers aren't. Pizza's communal. We can sit down and we can split a pizza, and you can get half your half, and I can get my half, and we're eating together.
That's right.
And a burger's not that way, and I think that's some of it, I guess. We've been asking everybody today. There's a lot of plant-based toppings here.
Right.
You see what do you see that? Where does that fit in the industry right now?
I think that it's one of those, like when it started out, it was kind of like the joke about pineapple, right?
Yeah.
And you either like pineapple on a pizza, you don't agree it should be on there, all that. But I think that it's one of those sectors in our industry that it's a real thing, right? And I think that if you're gonna put a line in the sand and saying, no, I'm not gonna be part of that, let's say, evolution into our industry, I think you're really losing out.
Right.
Because there are so many people that are vegan, right? Or that, choose to live a dairy-free diet or whatever it is. So this whole evolution of plant-based products has gotten so much better. I worked with a couple different big companies. I'm working on not only just pepperoni, but like things like chorizo and all these plant-based different items. And when you taste these things and you see how they cook, it's like, man, they got so close. Somebody who's not eating meat, right, will eat some of these products and say, man, this is the first time I'm eating pepperoni in how long? And it actually tastes good, right? So to me, I think that I have 5 restaurants, in Chicago. And, what we're doing over there, it's like we've embraced it. Yeah, we're bringing in, vegan cheese, and we're bringing in vegan pepperoni. We've gotten really close with the Happy Plant people, which is one of the big pepperonis that just came out, and they do a really beautiful job. And, to say that there's no meat in it, it all comes from plants. That's a pretty amazing thing.
When you add something like that to your menu, it's not like we have green peppers again. Like it's a big deal, right? How do you get the word out to your current guests? Like, how do you market it?
I would say the trick, even when we got into starting to do gluten-free, right? Gluten-free was really taboo for a while, and there wasn't a lot of pizzerias that were doing it. But one of the things in my consulting world was going to these operators saying, look, you want to add gluten-free to the menu? Don't do it every day. Pick one of your off days, a Tuesday, right? And make that gluten-free day. Could be pasta, could be pizza, whatever. But kind of corral everybody in so you can do it well. You don't have to spread it thin over a week. Do it really well, build a following, and if it makes sense, now you're packing Tuesdays as a gluten-free day, then go ahead and say, well, I'm going to expand it now to 2 days a week or whatever. Right. And I think the vegan thing could work the same way. But in my opinion, just knowing what I'm seeing in the industry, I think there's enough people that are searching for those types of pizzas and products that it won't take long. You put it on your menu, it stores really well, because it's plant-based.
Yeah.
So the shelf life's good on it. A lot of those things you can actually freeze and that sort of thing. So
Lee.
you can put a pizza together and it'll be really good.
Time to do an interview real quick for 10 minutes? Time to do an interview real quick for 10 minutes?
Well, we're almost done. I have one last question for you. Alive or dead, who would you like to cook for?
Julie Child.
Interesting.
I love it.
So you didn't answer that. What's your answer?
Alive or dead, who would I cook for?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a big cook. Something I would never really think about. You know who I'd love to meet alive or dead? I'd love to meet Benjamin Franklin. I've always thought that.
Yeah.
Cool cat. Did a lot of cool stuff. Invented a lot of cool stuff. That'd be a cool dude to hang out with.
That would be cool.
You like to make beer, so that's somebody I want
There
to
you
hang out
go.
with.
There you
That's
go.
really awesome.
Chef
That's
Leo
really
Spizzirri.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having
Website
me.
is what again?
leospizzirri.com, or you can follow
Yep.
me on social media at Ask Chef Leo.
Yes. And by the way, he's
Sampling perfect crust pizza liners right now. Lee Hunzinger's here. He should use them, right?
yeah, definitely. Good
Thanks
to see
so much,
you, sir.
buddy.
Thank
you for having me. Ciao, everybody.
Thank you.